Hey, me and Matt here, and this is Killer Kyle. Welcome to part 2 of the arena, stadium, centers, whatever. I'm going to talk about Coca-Cola Center, or as I thought it was, the WHEELZ Center. It started here in 1921. You had a lot of, I don't know if there was any wrestling there, but obviously you had hockey.
Yeah.
The Toronto Maple Leafs, of course. This is another arena in Toronto.
Right.
So, Toronto, like you said, has a lot of arenas. So from 1941 to 1945, the building was used as the Royal Canadian Air Force. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I see, really. Like, besides hockey.
On January 1st, 1920, Toronto voters approved by whatever that word is, proposal by the Royal Agricultural Fair Association to construct at a maximum cost of $1 million Canadian, a new arena for livestock. City of Toronto made a call for lenders to the fall of 1920. The lowest lender was $1.9 million Canadian, exceeding the mandate approved by plebiscite. Yeah. 1920.
Yeah, 1921. 2003.
Cornerstone was laid by Toronto Mayor Thomas Church, and on July 27th, 1921, Robert Fleming, president of the CNE, Canadian National Exhibition, declared that the building would be the largest of its kind in the world, with a floor space of 8.5 acres, or 3.25. So, yeah, they've had hockey games there. I think CNE was there. And used by the Royal Canadian Air Force during World War II. 63 was reconstructed. Came to call the Plaza, the Coliseum. In 2018, the MLSC announced that the Toronto Argonauts football operates in offices and waiting rooms would be relocated to the Ricoh Coliseum in late June of that year. On July 11th, 2018, at the end of Ricoh's partnership with the building, Coca-Cola purchased the naming rights to the facility for 10 years, renaming it the Coca-Cola Coliseum.
Jeez. Yeah, I think I had no idea this existed.
A lot of the information on this is money and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Not like don't want to give everybody information about the arenas we talk about. We don't want to bore you to death.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of... We talked about doing this, so I try to make it as...
educational and entertaining as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wanted to do the Ricoh Center, but there's no information on Wikipedia, so I mean, there's the Coca-Cola Coliseum.
Yeah.
So, there it is.
Right. What I would consider the famous arena in the Massachusetts area, and more specifically Boston, the TD Garden.
Now that, to me, I see a lot of wrestling shows that were there. I'm pretty sure you have hockey and...
Boston Bruins play there, I
Yeah.
think. The Celtics play there.
Yeah, Boston Celtics, of course. You can get a hot dog. Wicked good time.
Yeah.
Get a coffee.
Coffee.
Get a coffee.
TD Garden, often called the Boston Garden, or simply the Garden, is a multi-purpose arena in Boston, Massachusetts, with a capacity of nearly 20,000 people. It is New England's largest arena for sports, concerts, and conventions. Okay, New England, but whatever.
Well, yeah, it's in Massachusetts.
Yeah. It is named after the sponsor, TD Bank, a subsidiary of Canada's Toronto Dominion Bank. It opened in 1995 as a replacement to the original Boston Garden, which we mentioned earlier, and has been known as Fleet Center and TD Bank North Garden. The arena is located directly above the MBTA's North Station. Is the home arena with Boston Bruins, Boston Celtics. It is owned by Delaware North, whose CEO, Jeremy Jacobs, also owns the Bruins. It is the site of the annual Beanpot College Hockey Tournament and hosts the annual Hockey East Championships. The arena also hosted many major national sporting events, including the 1999 and the 2003 NCAA Division I men's basketball regional first and second rounds, the 2009, 2012, and 2018 Sweet 16 and Elite 8, the 1998 Frozen 4, the 2004 Frozen 4, the 2014 United States Figure Skating Championship, the 2006 Women's Final Four, and the 2015 Frozen 4. Holy!
Jesus.
It hosted games 3, 4, and 6 of the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals and the 2013 Stanley Cup Finals for the Bruins, and games 1, 2, and 6 of the 2008 NBA Finals, and games 3, 4, and 5 of the 2010 NBA Finals for the Celtics. Furthermore, it hosted the NALCS 2017 Summer Split Finals.
Wow.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's interesting. One of these days we'll have to travel to one of these arenas.
Yeah,
'Cause I've
really.
only ever been to one that we mentioned.
Yes.
But anyhow. Now we're gonna head on over to Detroit. We have the Joe Louis Arena, or Joe Louis Arena,
Joe Louis Arena.
which was established in 1979.
Right.
A lot of great wrestling there too, even,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
A lot of good wrestling events at the Joe.
Exactly. Also, other sports. I mean, obviously you're gonna have other sports there.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Yeah. I would say Joe Louis Arena is among the most widely recognized arenas in the world.
yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. And, I mean, this kind of thing, I mean, you have a lot of good wrestling there, you got a lot of good hockey there, I'm sure.
Oh,
A lot
yeah.
of concerts. I mean, there's not really too much. I already said, yeah, so. Holy shit. So, let's see. Established here in 1979 and 19. What is that?
Joe Louis Arena is a defunct multi-purpose arena in downtown Detroit, completed in 1979 at a cost of $57 million as a replacement for the Olympia Stadium. It sits adjacent to Cobo Center on the bank of the Detroit River and was accessible by the Joe Louis Arena station on the Detroit People Mover. The venue is named after former heavyweight boxing champion Joe Louis,
Exactly.
who grew up in Detroit. It was the home of the Detroit Red Wings and the second oldest NHL venue after Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow.
Until the start of 2017-2018 season, Joe Louis Arena is owned by the city of Detroit and operated by the Olympia Entertainment, a subsidiary of Team Owner Holdings. In April 2017, the Red Wings hosted their final game at the Joe Louis Arena. The venue was succeeded by Little Caesar Arena,
Oh, wow.
closed on July 29th, 2017. The venue is scheduled for demolition sometime this year.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
Yes,
So, that's insane.
I know.
I mean, some arenas do get demolished, obviously, or renamed, but that's just crazy.
I mean, to think that it's the second oldest arena behind Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I know.
It's basically a historical building.
Yeah, for sure.
Why would you want to demolish it?
Well, people are stupid. I honestly don't know. I mean, that's, you know, sometimes you gotta, if the building's that old, then things are gonna fall apart, and
Well, yeah, I guess.
that's unfortunate, but that's true. I mean, I would have kept it up myself, but yeah, that's just the way it is.
And I mean, like, 1979 to 2017,
Oh, I know,
it's pretty good.
for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, our next arena is an arena that I've seen quite a few Ring of Honor events held at,
Oh, wow, yeah.
and was the home of ECW for many years,
Yes.
and, well, is billed here as the world's most famous bingo hall, the 2300 Arena.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of rich history there with that kind of
Oh yeah.
wrestling, and yeah, and I kept saying that Ring of Honor always reminded me of ECW. Well, there it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But
To think that it would be dubbed the world's most famous bingo hall is like pretty crazy to think about it. But I mean, it's true.
well, I mean, when I thought of bingo hall, I obviously usually thought of old ladies sitting at tables and playing with their cards and whatever.
A bunch of old ladies sitting at a table with their cards in front of them and bingo dabbers, chain smoking away,
Oh, yeah.
talking about life and their husbands.
Well, can you fucking imagine, like, a row of tables? Hey, five! What?
Yeah. B13! Good to see that little honors, honey.
Yeah, definitely.
2300 Arena, previously named Viking Hall, New Alhambra Arena, and The Arena, is a multi-purpose indoor arena used primarily for pro wrestling, boxing, mixed martial arts, and concert events. Located in South Philadelphia under an elevated stretch of Interstate 95, it is named after its address, 2300 South Swanson Street.
Wow.
It was previously known as Asylum Arena through a naming rights agreeing with the Asylum Fight League, and has had numerous nicknames based on the professional wrestling promotions that has held events in the arena. These names include the CZW Arena, XPW Arena, and most notably as the ECW Arena.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that would be good to go back into the 90s just to watch that.
Oh yeah, really.
Jesus. Yeah.
And I always remembered it as the ECW Arena and know it now as the 2300 Arena, but I didn't realize it was also called Viking Hall and New Alhambra Arena.
Nah, me neither.
So,
Well, I didn't even know it was a 2300 arena. I should have, but
right, excuse me.
I just knew it was the bingo hall. Now we got the real shit right here. We talked about CMLL, Arena Mexico, in the beginning of our episode. Now we're going to go all the way to the land of the rising sun. In Japan, we talk about the Tokyo Dome.
Probably the biggest and most famous arena in Japan.
Oh god, yeah. And it's kind of cool just to see. You talk about Royal Rumble on Sunday, and it's almost like they got the inspiration, sort of, through the Tokyo Dome.
Oh yeah, you look at Wrestle Kingdom 13 in the beginning of January, and yeah.
And to talk about All Japan, New Japan, Wrestling Noah. It was New Japan that starts in 1972.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Antonio Inoki, who becomes the IWGP champion. And, since then you have, Shinsuke Nakamura, I don't know about Kenta, but Hiroshi Tanahashi, the Bullet Club,
AJ Styles,
Brock Lesnar,
yeah,
I think even Hulk Hogan, maybe.
Yeah, I think Hulk Hogan, maybe Andre the Giant.
Yeah. Giant Bubba.
Giant Singh.
Yeah.
Giant Silva.
Giant Bernard.
Okada.
Okada, yes.
Naito. Goto.
Taiji Ishimori, no.
Ishimori, Ishii, Makabe,
Jushin Thunder Liger.
Thunder Liger, Will Ospreay,
Yeah. Finn Balor, aka Prince Devitt.
yeah, the Young Bucks.
Yes. A lot of great wrestling talent was there, and are still there, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool because when a few years ago, going on YouTube and looking at matches from like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, just the difference in, you know, how they did things and the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have the geisha girls in the ring with the flowers and they're presented to the wrestlers, and you know, it just became less of those kinds of things. You know, there's still tradition, but not that much really.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to figure out what other sports they had. I know they had concerts there.
Yeah. Tokyo Dome is a stadium in Bunkyo, Tokyo, Japan. Construction of the stadium began on May 16th, 1985 and opened on March 17th, 1988. It was built on the site of the Velodrome adjacent to the predecessor ballpark Korakuen Stadium. It has a maximum total capacity of 57,000 depending on configuration, with an all seating configuration of 42,000. Tokyo Dome's original nickname was the Big Egg, with some calling it the Tokyo Big Egg. The dome-shaped roof is an air-supported structure, flexible membrane supported by slightly pressurizing the inside of the stadium. It became the first Japanese venue with an American football attendance above 50,000.
Jesus.
It is the home field of the Yomiuri, I'm going to brutalize these pronunciations, Yomiuri Giants baseball team, and has also hosted music concerts, basketball, American football, and association football games, as well as pro wrestling matches, mixed martial arts events, kickboxing events, monster truck races. It is also the location for the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame, which chronicles the history of baseball in Japan. The Tokyo Dome was developed by Nikkei Sekel and Takenaka Corporation.
Wow. Yeah, you know, just thinking now, they talk about New Japan, All Japan, you know, you had WWF in the 80s, did a lot of wrestling there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's too bad you don't see that very much anymore. But yeah, I remember seeing a lot of matches, well, a few matches anyway, like from, let's say, Ted DiBiase versus Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
Or whoever. So, I mean, we'll have to try to find them again, but
Yeah.
there it is.
So, earlier we talked about a pretty famous arena in the Texas area, specifically Dallas, Texas, the Sportatorium. Let's go back to Texas and talk about another pretty famous arena. This one is in the San Antonio area.
Yeah.
The Alamo Dome.
Yes. A lot of great wrestling in the Alamo Dome as well. Like, Texas is awesome for those kinds of arenas
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that, but You know, I think there's a lot of other concerts and sports there as well. I don't know too much what else is in there, but yeah, WWE has definitely performed in the Alamo Dome.
Oh yeah,
many times.
they had Royal Rumble there a few years ago. They
Yes.
had WrestleMania there.
In fact, that was the last best Royal Rumble there was, I think.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, everything is bigger in Texas, as they say.
Oh yeah, you got that right. The Alamo Dome is a domed 64,000 seat multi-purpose facility used as a stadium for football, basketball, soccer, and baseball, and as a convention center. It is located on the southeastern fringe of downtown San Antonio, Texas. The facility opened on May 15th, 1993, having been constructed at a cost of $186 million.
Fuck.
The multi-purpose facility was intended to increase the city's convention traffic and attract a professional football franchise. It also placated the San Antonio Spurs' demands for a larger arena. Spurs played in the Alamo Dome for a decade, then became disenchanted with the facility and convinced Bexar County to construct a new arena for them, now called the AT&T Center. The Alamo Dome's biggest regular tenant is currently the UTSA Roadrunners.
Sweet.
Could you, the Rico Coliseum had a fairly high cost of $1 million Canadian. This place was built for triple that.
Wow. Yeah.
186 million
American?
American.
Jesus Christ, that's crazy.
The things cities will do just to get a building for sports and other stuff in their city.
Well, you know, that's the thing, because you want a big arena, you want a lot of people to come in. It will cost you nominally to get the building made, and also to have people come in and pay, a ticket, just so those people that have the arena can afford to keep the arena going.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, I never understood that up until a few years ago, because it's like, I have to go to a concert and pay how much? Fuck you. But, you pay a ticket, and then you get your food or whatever, and basically, it's there for them to keep maintenance up on your building.
Basically, yeah.
So,
I mean, if you want to keep a building well maintained and have people still come there to watch basketball or wrestling or boxing or whatever the case may be, yeah, you put out high prices for beer and food and maybe merchandise and stuff, but that's what you gotta do to maintain a building like that, wherever it is, whichever one it is.
well, that was the thing on Woodstock 99, where, water was very much higher priced than, let's say, other things, and it was extremely hot, and, people went crazy. So you kind of fucking wonder why things happen like that, and, I mean, that's an outdoor festival, so
Right, yeah.
when you have things that are that expensive, you need those things to be hydrated, and unfortunately, you got the fucking almost the whole thing on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, that's just weird.
so we talked about Dallas, we talked about San Antonio. We're gonna keep this Texas thing going. Talk about the Houston Astrodome.
Take a little trip to Houston and talk about the Astros.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the most impressive WrestleManias that happened there was at 17. It was very impressive to see that they went big, and, you know, by that point, WrestleMania, at least right after WrestleMania 8, they went back to arenas, it seems. But yeah, going to the Houston Astrodome, very cool.
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, this was the point where we started going back to places they went to before, maybe a few years later or whatever, but they end up going right back there. And I think a lot of what attracts people to want to have WrestleMania there is the fact that it's not just one day, it's like a week-long thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like, you and I talked about this before. WrestleMania in the beginning was basically, when it came around, you went to an auditorium, or maybe a school, or maybe a library, or wherever to watch it because it was on closed circuit television at the time.
Yes.
And then, as WrestleMania got bigger, it was put on pay-per-view, but I think still mainly it was a one-day thing, or maybe a two-day thing, with the Hall of Fame in the early days. Now, Fred, you got the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, you got the takeover event, you got WrestleMania itself, you got WrestleMania Access, you got a whole bunch of other stuff throughout basically the Monday to that Sunday of WrestleMania, like the Monday Night Raw, the Go Home show, to the Sunday and WrestleMania itself.
Yeah, for sure. But there's been other sports there too, obviously.
Yes. The NRG Astrodome, also known as the Houston Astrodome, or simply the Astrodome, is the world's first multi-purpose domed sports stadium located in Houston, Texas. Construction of the stadium began in 1962, and it officially opened in 1965. It served as home for the Houston Astros from its opening in 1965 until 1999, and the home of the Houston Oilers, the football team, from 1968 to 1996, and also part-time home of the Houston Rockets, the basketball team, from 1971 to 75. Additionally, the Astrodome was a primary venue for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo from 1966 until 2002. When opened, it was named the Harris County Dome Stadium and was nicknamed the 8th wonder of the world. After the original natural grass played surface died, the Astrodome became the first major sports venue to install AstroTurf, which became known as, artificial turf known as AstroTurf. So AstroTurf started at the Astrodome. So coincidentally enough,
Right.
and another technological first, the Astrodome featured the Light, which was the first animated scoreboard. Oh yeah, okay. The Astrodome was renovated in 1968, expanding seating and altering many original features. By the 1990s, the Astrodome became obsolete, unable to secure a new stadium. Oilers owner Bud Adams moved the team to Tennessee after the 1996 season, where they eventually became the Tennessee Titans. The Astros played at the Dome through the 99 season before relocating to the Enron Center, later changed to Minute Maid Park in 2000, while the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo continued to be held at the Astrodome until the opening of the adjacent NRG Stadium in 2002. Although it no longer had any primary talent of the venue, regularly hosted events in the early 2000s and in 2005 was used as a shelter for residents in the New Orleans affected by Hurricane Katrina. The Astrodome was declared non-compliant with fire code by the Houston Fire Department in 2008, and parts of it were demolished in 2013 after several years of disuse. 2014, it was listed as the National Register of... It was basically registered as a historical building.
Right.
Whew!
Yeah, that's a lot of history.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, it's kind of cool to see these arenas. Like, you wish that you can just transport yourself there. I mean, it would have been cool to go to the Astrodome.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But that's crazy.
Yeah. And you would think that other cities that have like really old buildings, like the Joe Louis Arena, the Dallas Sportatorium, the Philadelphia Spectrum, a couple other ones would name those buildings historical buildings, but I guess Houston was the first to do it, essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is kind of a shame, but I mean, like we've been talking about, there's so much history with this building.
Yeah.
Why not make it a historical building?
Well, it should be, yeah, for sure. A lot of those buildings need to be.
So, the Astrodome was the 8th wonder of the world before Andre the Giant was.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna go back to Toronto, and we're gonna talk about the Sky Dome. Hell yeah. Man, you know, one of the best things that ever to come out of Toronto, anyhow, is the Sky Dome, and I mean that's like the Madison Square Garden of Ontario, I think, in a way.
I think so, yeah.
You know, you've got your hockey, you have baseball. You have baseball there, you know. And then
That's home base for the Blue Jays.
Oh, for sure, yeah. The Blue Jays, oh yeah, if they win. But you also have your WWE/WWF. You know, think about WrestleMania 6.
WrestleMania 18.
WrestleMania 18, which a lot of people, including my older brother, was there, and I wish I would have went, but there it is. You know, it's pretty cool just to think that that's the only place I haven't been to. Well, besides those other arenas, but I mean, it's the only place that I really wanted to go to. It's on my bucket list. And I had to go and change it to the Rogers Center for some fucking reason.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways, we won't get into that. And it's still one of the best domes out there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I can't imagine how much tickets are.
Yeah, really.
Jesus, yeah.
Rogers Centre, resident named Sky Dome, is a multi-purpose stadium in downtown Toronto, Ontario, Canada, situated just southwest of the CN Tower, near the northern shore of Lake Ontario. Opened in 1989 on the former railway lands, it is home to the Toronto Blue Jays. Previously, the stadium was home to the Toronto Argonauts,
Oh,
Toronto Raptors, Buffalo Bills. Played annual games at the stadium. The Bills Toronto series from 2008 to 2013. While it is primarily a sports venue, it also hosts other large events such as conventions, trade fairs, concerts, traveling carnivals, and monster truck shows. The
yes.
stadium was renamed Rogers Centre following the purchase of the stadium by Rogers Communications, which also owned the Blue Jays. In 2005, the venue was noted for being the first stadium to have a fully retractable motorized roof, as well as the 348-room hotel attached in it. Yes, there is a hotel inside the Skydome Rogers Centre.
And just kind of realized that a lot of these stadiums have hotels built in them.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense, though.
With 70 rooms overlooking the field, it is also the last North American Major League stadium built to accommodate both football and baseball. The stadium served as the site of both the opening and closing ceremonies of the 2015 Pan American Games. During the ceremonies, the site was referred to as the Pan Am Dome, officially as the Pan Am ceremonies venue. Instead of its official name, Rogers Communications did not have sponsorship rights to the games.
Huh.
So basically, if you're a traveler and you want a place to stay, go to the Rogers Centre, get a hotel, and if you're lucky, there happened to be a Blue Jays game going on, you could basically like sit outside. I'm sure there's like a balcony or whatever. Sit outside your hotel room and watch the Blue Jays game.
Oh, yeah. Well, think about it, too. If they still had, well, they do have wrestling there. You could probably do that as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, it seems like mainly there's wrestling events at the
Rico Center?
Rico Center and the Air Canada Center.
Huh.
Well, capacity for a baseball is 49,282. For football, 31,074. Expandable to 52,200. There, now, okay. So, the Air Canada Center opened in 80 something?
Yeah, I think it was 83. Don't quote me on that.
And then, or was it? So, yeah, basically the Rogers, well,
Skydome.
the Rogers Center and the Air Canada Center are like the two oldest arenas in Canada.
Yeah, it's all the Skydome to me, damn it. Boy, do they have a lot of renames for these domes or arenas.
So, going back to the United States,
Yep.
we're going to talk about a place that was home to WrestleMania 8.
Yep.
and I believe some other, I think some sports teams play there. And I'm going to talk about the Hoosier Dome.
Yes. Or now, as I guess it's called, the RCA Dome. So, yeah. That's interesting. Like I said, WrestleMania 8's always been one of my favorite WrestleManias. Just like WrestleMania 17, 18, and 6. But, anyways, yeah, I mean, what an interesting arena. Or, yeah, dome, whatever now.
Right.
And you have sports teams there. You have football and baseball as well. Like, I guess a lot of these arenas.
Well, it says here, the RCA Dome, originally the Hoosier Dome, was a domed stadium in Indianapolis.
Yep.
It was the home of the Indianapolis Colts franchise for 24 seasons from 1984 to 2007. It was completed at a cost of $77.5 million as a part of the Indiana Convention Center, with the cost split between private and public money. The largest crowd to attend an event at the Dome was 62,167 for WrestleMania 8.
Wow.
In 1992,
Yep.
it was demolished on December of 2008 as a part of a project to expand the attached convention center.
Okay. Well, still a pretty cool idea. Really cool arena. And just, there's not really too much to say about it, really. You don't hear too many more wrestling events from either company talk about the RCA Dome. As far as I know. And like I said, I don't really watch other sports, so I'm not sure who plays where.
Yeah, really.
So
basically, WrestleMania 8 got a larger audience than the Indianapolis Colts did in 24 seasons, I guess.
we now talk of the Bell Center, La Belle Province,
Montreal.
in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And another famous arena in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, the WWE has definitely been there. You have, well, here, I mean,
A lot of UFC events were there.
oh yeah, I mean, I can't think of a specific one, but of course, there's been a lot of UFC fights there. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Bell Center and Molson Center redirect here for Arena, Barrie, Ontario, Barrie Molson Center, whatever.
Yeah.
The Bell Center, formerly known as the Molson Center, is a sports and entertainment complex in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It opened on March 16, 1996, after nearly 3 years under construction. It is best known as the home of the NHL's Montreal Canadiens, and it has the largest arena capacity to regularly host an NHL team. It is currently owned by a partnership group headed by Jeff Molson and his brothers, Andrew and Justin. The same ownership group also owns the Montreal Canadiens and Ivanko, entertainment event promoter. Since it opened in 1996, it has consistently been listed as one of the world's busiest arenas, usually receiving the highest attendance of any arena in Canada. In 2012, it was the 5th busiest arena in the world based on ticket sales for non-sporting events.
Crazy. Yeah, it's cool just to see events like WWE or UFC or even TNA just go over there. And even, I mean, of course, you got hockey in the Montreal Canadiens. But as soon as I get someone to take me, I'll have to go to Quebec at some point. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to go to Montreal. Have some poutine.
Have some poutine, have some tortilla,
some smoked meat.
go to La Belle Provence.
Oui, oui.
Yeah, very cool. So, anyways, this I guess is going to be part 2 of our series, and well, I'll be right back with part 3.